It's smallHUGE.com. smallHUGE.com.
You're with Sonia from smallHUGE. Mark's gone AWOL to Bali, lucky for some. And I'm here with the awesome and lovely and talented Pieter T.
Kia ora, kia ora.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
I'm very good, very
Yay.
good. It's about 9 o'clock here at night, and I think that's the perfect time for an interview. It's always good to interview somebody at night because you get their deep thought processes.
Oh, I like your thinking. Yeah. That's a good thing to do. Actually, I should probably keep that in mind for future interviews.
You never interview somebody in the morning. It's terrible. They've just woken up. All they're thinking about is breakfast, bro. You know, at night time, that's when the philosophers come out. That's the best time, staring at the stars, contemplating what life is and how it's made.
Are you staring at the stars at the moment, or are you stuck at the computer?
I'm stuck at the computer, but as soon as this interview finishes, best believe I'll be staring at the stars.
Oh,
yep,
good man. All right, okay, so I'm gonna break the ice a little bit here, okay? So we're gonna do some sharp questions, right? So I'm gonna ask you a question, and you reply really quickly, yeah?
Okay, let's do it.
Down? Okay, so what is your favourite country to visit out of all the ones you've been to?
Ooh. Oh, it's got to be the US. Of all, you know, I love all the islands and everywhere else I've been to, but to be fair, the US is so vast and so different that state to state, it's like a completely new country. So it's got to be the United States. Choice.
One thing you love most about New Zealand?
Ooh, I love that everything is so close together. Be it the beaches, be it traveling just city to city, be it heading to the mountains, whatever. Everything is relatively close. You don't have to catch a flight somewhere to go to the beach. If you're in Auckland, you go to Piha, it's an hour away. If you're in Hamilton, head to Raglan. You know, everything is so wonderfully close together. We're pretty lucky.
We're very, very fortunate, eh?
Yeah. We are, and it's not until you start to go overseas that you actually understand that you know, there are people living in the US that have never seen the ocean before, you know, because of how vast the country is. You know, if you're living in the center of the US, it'd cost you thousands to fly out to go and see an ocean, and we've got that right there. So I think that's one beautiful thing that we have in New Zealand. Nowhere is out of reach, really.
Oh, beautiful! That's beautiful, bro. Okay, Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
Oh, really? I won't judge. It's just
questions.
I
mean, you got to be fair. I mean, the servers are better established. Safer than the bloody PlayStation fiasco. Everybody on PlayStation knows what I'm talking about. When the server shut down, you couldn't get online, and your credit card details were being hacked. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It's gone up for a long time. It's all about the Xbox.
What's your most favourite game on the Xbox then?
Currently, GTA 5 or Madden 25. I've been playing Hitman for a little bit, but as a series as a whole, it'd probably be a toss-up between GTA or Assassin's Creed.
Favourite app on your phone at the moment?
Damn, that's a good one. Actually, probably the Instagram app.
Oh, okay.
Instagram is great. It's a great time waster and a great. I think it's a great tool to be able to read inside the minds of celebrities. I think you know, and I'm talking like big United States celebrity, American celebrity, international celebs. Like, you can't really read somebody's mind from a status update, but you can generally see from how they post on Instagram and what they post about the types of people that they are, and their thought processes. Yeah.
So you're like psychoanalyzing people through
it's what I do. I've been doing it since I was a kid. The only way to get through in this world is to read people. You know, that's the only way to get what you want. You've got to learn to read people. So I do. I look at Instagram, and not only is it great to see what, you know, the great pictures that people post, you're able to get an understanding of their psyche. Yeah. It's strange, but the next time you go on Instagram, like your favorite person that you like to follow, go back and have a look at the last 5 photos that they posted, the length of time at which they've posted them as well, and what they've posted up, and the captions. It's generally a very real sense of who they are as a person. You find some of them just post selfies all day, which shows they are the self-obsessed egomaniacs that they come across as.
Oh my God, I feel so insecure right now.
You can read a lot about a person from Instagram. You can't really read shit from somebody's Twitter or Facebook, because they can say whatever the hell they want, or just take up quotes from online and whatever, but
Yeah.
you can generally get a pretty good sense of who a person is from Instagram, because think about it, they're kind of posting up what they see through their eyes or what's
Yeah.
going through their mind. That's what they put up on Instagram. I
Oh.
think that's why I like it so much.
I'm fully going to go Instagram stalking now.
Yeah, and go back and look at the favorite person you look at, and you may be very surprised. Like if you start to try and break down who they are as a person, you'll start to see like who they are from their Instagram posts. Some of them not at all. Like it's probably just their bloody publicist who's posting on it all day. But you know, some of them are very personal in what they put across.
Dun dun dun! Oh my god, that sounds awesome. That's going to be my mission. Okay, what is the most played track on your playlist at the moment?
Oh damn. I just downloaded yesterday Ty Dolla $ign's EP, The Beach House Part 2. I'm a pretty big fan of him. He's like the new R&B sort of sound coming out of LA, and he's writing for a number of big artists. So it's Ty Dolla $ign, The Beach House Part 2. Not many people know who he is, but I've known about this dude for a while, and he just got signed to Wiz Khalifa's Taylor Gang.
Oh.
So don't be surprised if within the next year this dude's a massive name. He's the new sound of R&B from what I can hear.
Oh, that sounds hot, man. Choice. Favorite musician as a kid, and you only get one.
It'd have to be Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, because he's the man.
There's nothing you can say about MJ. Music, him as a person, how he was a philanthropist and how he put his heart and soul out there to the people. Michael Jackson seriously was an artist that everybody should try and emulate.
Yeah, hard. I couldn't agree more, bro. Okay, so this is going back a bit, but to the Neverending Story days, is Atreyu or Falcor the better?
Yeah, I didn't really watch that as a kid.
Oh, no, what? What are you talking about? Are you serious? Have you never seen it?
Well, I've seen it, but it never really caught my I never really just enjoyed it that much. I remember it was there as a kid, it was on TV. I fell asleep during it once. I think as a teenager it played again, fell asleep. It was actually on TV the other day. I
was so excited.
It was on for Christmas, and I was having Christmas dinner with my parents, and we were just cracking up at how ridiculous it was.
It's a flying luck dragon, bro. How can you not be impressed?
Wow. Yeah.
No.
It's more like a flying sheepdog, but I don't know. Just I don't know. I never really saw the appeal or never got into it.
It's okay. I'll forgive you. Only because you can sing real good and you're clever. What has been your resolution for 2014? Do you even do them?
Yeah, I do. I do resolutions. It's pretty much the same I have as every year. To work as hard as possible, to ensure that I gain some form of success to myself, whether that be through training or career-wise. So the success, I guess, is dictated by myself as I go through the year. But it's always to be working hard and to ensure that as a whole, I'm going forward as a person.
Man.
Not just going forward in my career, but going forward, whether it be through training or whether it be through developing myself as a person or the relationships I have with people, just bettering myself every year as a person or trying to. That should always be the aim, That's what I think.
I went to the gym for the first time in 7 years today.
Really?
Yep.
How are you feeling? You feeling good?
I can't feel my legs.
Yeah, but your body's probably bloody raging with endorphins right now. So, yeah, I'm sure you're bouncing off the walls.
I've been a happy camper all day. It's been awesome. Yeah, love it.
Trick now is to stay on track.
Yes.
If you're hitting the gym, just remember, stay on track and don't overexert yourself.
Okay.
This is a common problem I found with people who have resolutions every new year to start training and start going hard. They overexert themselves and overcommit themselves within the first 2 weeks, and as a result, that's why they fail. They say, I'm going to go every day. And the problem is, if you haven't been to the gym in 2 years, you go 1 or 2 days in a row, your body is screwed.
Yeah.
And you can't do it the third day, but you force yourself to do it. And so you're in even more pain by the fourth or fifth day, to which point next week you just decide to quit, or you decide to take 1 day off to recover. Then the second day you haven't fully recovered, so you take another day off to recover. And then the third day hits and you can't be bothered, or life's too busy that you can't get back into it. So it's about being smart with the gym. Just make sure that you don't overexert yourself and just do it just be smart about it. And I guarantee you'll stay on track.
Realistic goals, eh?
Yeah, exactly. It's not unrealistic to say that within 6 months you want to be a gym freak and you want to be training every day and eating right. But for right now, start with small goals and build up to that big goal, the dream goal. There
Oh,
should
you're
be
so inspiring.
there should be an end game in mind, but just remember that a series of small victories is easier to achieve than just trying to win the war, you know?
Yeah.
Every general, they try and win each individual battle, which goes towards winning the war as a whole. But you don't go into a war just saying, "Oh, we're just going to win the war and that's it." Each individual battle needs to be faced. Each level of success that's gained needs to be noted, and you need to feel proud about that in order to feel like you're getting somewhere. Yeah.
Man, you're like a wealth of knowledge and awesomeness, aren't you, really?
You know what? I just try and be an inspiring person.
Oh, well, you're doing very good at that.
I want everybody to live a life fulfilled, to live a life, completely enjoyable, and to understand that life is a gift as well.
Yeah.
Life is something that. What's amazing about us as human beings is that we're given this ability to think. We're given this ability to have emotion. We're able to have proper, long-standing relationships with people, and we have friends and we have lovers, and we have all these amazing things available to us as human beings that other life forces living on this planet don't have. Like there are many animals and insects that can only think so far as just having sex, like in the form of reproducing, eating and sleeping. That's it. Yet as human beings, we're capable of all these amazing things, and I just feel so many people forget that. So many people get stuck in the routine of life and forget that just living is a gift, and one amazing thing that shouldn't be slept on.
It is, eh? It is. And speaking of which, you've done a lot of work, haven't you, with Youthline and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have. I've done a fair amount of work with Youthline, and I did some work with youth suicide prevention in Samoa also, as well as Youthline in Rarotonga. And I feel, again, it's one of those things that we don't draw enough attention to about depression and mental illness and just general sadness, and I think one of the reasons why it's so tough being a high schooler, and I know everybody goes through the phase of being a teenager. You have all these new hormones running through your body as well, so your body's all out of sync, your body's all out of whack, so the smallest thing can seem like the biggest deal at that particular time. But I'm sure, just like me, there'll be so much shit that you look back on in high school that you made a big deal of at the time and focused on for like a month, and you look back at it now and go, fuck, that was pathetic.
Yeah, hard.
There'd be so many things that so many teenagers are going through right now, and it could just be something as flippant as one of the cool kids saying something negative towards you, and you focus on that, and you make that such a big deal in your life that it forces you to think, am I worthless? Should I even be here on this earth? And it's something so small that you will forget about in your years to come. But right then and there, as a teenager, it's hard to get through. So, my biggest thing is I just want to reinforce to kids that there is a big wide world out there, and high school is not the be all and end all. It may feel like that right now, but believe me, trust me, once you get out there, once you get past it all, you're going to see that these trivial issues that you have in your life as a teenager mean nothing when it comes to the real world,
And it's such a big thing, when people, kids need somebody to talk to at the end of the day.
They really do. And it's hard to talk to parents. See, I can understand that. It's very difficult for a youth to want to talk to their parents, because most teenagers I know bloody are at odds with their parents, because their parents want them to do right and do well and don't want them to screw up. And unfortunately, the only way to go forward in life is to make mistakes. You've got to make mistakes to grow in order to know what's right and what's wrong. So your parents don't want you to do that. You're at odds with your parents. Who do you talk to? Who do you talk to with the knowledge to know going forward that life is going to be okay? You can't talk to other teenagers, because they have no idea.
They don't know shit.
Yeah, exactly. They have no idea. You don't want to talk to a guidance counselor, because that ideal right there is like, shit, that's uncool. I'm talking
to
what's wrong with me,
Yeah.
So I think there need to be more mentors inside school, or mentors for teenagers. People in around the age of, say, between 20 and 30, because I think, again, once you get past that sort of 30 age, it's another thing. Teenagers look at it and go, you're too far removed from me. But
you're too old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe young people in their 20s to be able to go back into schools and just spend time with some of these with kids, I think that's one of the biggest things that will stop so many kids from taking their own lives, is just
hard.
just talking, just to let them know, hey man, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell you what's right or what's wrong or to harden up. I'm just here to say, if you've got a problem, let's talk about it. And I just want you to understand that these problems will go away.
Yeah, I think it's very much considered a taboo subject too. Like even when I was studying and to do radio and stuff, it was like there was these rules of you don't talk about suicide, you don't talk about rape, you don't talk about all this stuff, and it's like, well, actually, that's some of the worst shit that needs to be talked about.
Exactly. And for the reason that we don't talk about it, it's just a vicious cycle that keeps going round and round.
Yeah.
Maybe, we lose, the way I look at it, we lose nothing by attempting to talk about it.
Yeah.
But, we don't gain anything by not talking about it. So what's the worst that could happen? We haven't talked about it in the past and nothing's changed. Our statistics are worsening. So what do we do? Why don't we try talking about it? Why don't we stop assuming that young people are dumb and don't have the emotional capability to understand these issues and just give them a chance?
Yeah.
Just give them a chance. Talk to them. See what they think. At the end of the day, this is an issue that affects and surrounds them. So, as adults, I don't think we can really be the ones to solve it completely on our own. We do need their help. We do need their input. They're the ones who understand their evolving and changing world better than we do.
Yeah.
They know what the pressures are like with social media and all these other things that are taken into account now as the world grows with technology, and I think we really need to talk to them more and assume that they do have a brain, not that they are just a bunch of teenagers who don't know shit.
Yeah, hard out, man, hard out.
Yeah.
Oh, the world needs more of you. Okay.
Homegrown heroes. Getting up close and personal with New Zealand music.
I have some questions that may be cutting to the core of a lot of the music scene in New Zealand. So, Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's start off gently. Okay. What inspired you to get into music?
Initially, wow. I mean, I've always loved music right from the age of, like, say, I think I was 6. My parents tell me I was 6 when I was putting records on my own. So I've always had a love for music, and I always remember I was the one discovering new music in our household. So I'd be there, like, getting tapes from friends at school and looking through CD catalogs to buy new CDs of new sounds. I was always just a fan of music first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then as I got a little bit older, as I hit high school, I realized I had a talent. I realized I could sing, and I decided I wanted to pursue it further. I've been very lucky in the way that I was raised by my parents. They were very restricted in their early lives, and they battled pretty difficultly to get through what they had to go through. My father's a former gang member, so he had a very tough childhood. My mother was out of home by the age of 14, 15. So they've basically lived on their own and tried their best to ensure that they can provide us with everything in life. And the one thing they always said to us was, you can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Whatever you decide to do, they pushed us down it. They never forced us, me or my brothers, into anything. They never forced us out of anything. They basically just said, you've got to try everything at life to see what you like and see what you don't like, and we'll support you 100%. Even when it came to, like, drinking and drugs, like, they weren't incredibly happy about that when me and my brother started experimenting with that stuff in high school. But they just said, look, just be safe, and just, you've got to figure this stuff out on your own. So
Right.
I was very lucky in that they enforced that attitude on us from a very young age. So I looked at it, was like, I'm always going to regret not giving it a go to become a musician in New Zealand, and I lose nothing by trying. The worst that could come from it is, shit, I fail. Okay, well, back to the drawing board, either to have another go or move into another career. So I decided to give it a go.
Man.
And, it was one of those things that as I was working with it, I could never walk away from it. So I just kept grinding and kept working, and here I am today.
Choice. And I'm so glad you did. And there's heaps of other people that are too. So because you came on the scene with, was it the Edge that kind of got you the break?
Yeah, well, actually, not really. That actually started, like, my missus knew I wanted to get into the music scene at that time. So she was just like, she saw it and like the way they were describing it, I knew it was going to be a laugh. Because at that time, this is before the likes of Titanium. Yeah. Boy bands, remember, were shit at that time. Yeah. So it was definitely on the level of a piss take. Yeah. But we also saw it as, like, maybe potentially an opportunity to meet some individuals in the industry and see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I had a great time with that whole experience. It was fun. I made friends with all the boys in the crew. It was great. But what I noticed very quickly, one thing I will take away from that is that it's cutthroat. So while we were there and while we were part of it, everybody was cool with us. Everybody was supporting us. Whatever, it was a great laugh. As soon as that promotion was over, we were done. Cut by the wayside. They didn't want to talk to any of us anymore. That was it. So I realized, like, holy shit, this is what the industry's like. They are ruthless.
Yeah.
This was done for the purposes to make money and get listeners hooked into the edge, and that's all it was for.
Yeah.
That's all it was for. As soon as it was over, they didn't give two shits about us.
Yeah.
And all the other boys, obviously they all had dreams to be musicians as well, but none of them really followed through with it. But I just knew in my heart of hearts, there's no way I could give up on this music stuff. So it was a very quick insight as to what it may be like to be a musician, but not a very real one. It was more just a crazy time. But it was a very honest insight into the way people treat you in the industry. When you're hot, you're on. They look after you. As soon as they've got no use for you, catch you later, mate. You're done.
It sucks balls, eh?
Well, it's just the way it is, and it's not just the music industry. It's the entertainment industry in general. It's actually
media.
It's actually most businesses in general too.
Yeah.
Most successful businesses are very ruthless when it comes to staffing or whatever. For whatever time that you serve a purpose for that company, cool. We'll pay you and we'll look after you. The moment you start becoming less worthwhile or perceived as useless, they treat you like an asset. Sorry, mate, you're gone.
Yeah. Who gives two shits, really, eh?
Yeah. It's just the way it is, especially with the entertainment industry. It's very, very ruthless.
So do you think that the New Zealand talent shows, like the what do you call them? New Zealand's Got Talent and New Zealand Idol and all that stuff. Do you think that is a good way to be bringing awesome musicians into the industry?
I really don't know. I think maybe it might give a bit of a false sense to some musicians of how to get into the industry. But what I find is that I don't think a lot of these artists get much guidance from these big labels on what to do after the show.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we're making money with you. Cool. Oh my God, you're the best thing to hit the show. As soon as you're voted out, nah, fuck you, mate. You're done.
Yeah.
And the same with some of these people that win it. Oh my God, great. You've generated money for us. We've made shitloads of money from the texting and all of that. Okay, we're going to run you on it. We're going to make an album for you, put the album out. We're going to run a little tour. And then what?
Yeah.
What then? What happens after that? What's happening with these artists? These artists are left to fend for themselves. And so in which case they get a real quick bum rush way to the top. So you get the flash in the pan fame, and then there's nothing to follow up from there.
Yeah.
So regardless of how good musically these guys are or how creative they are, without having the right team there or the right understanding of how the industry works, it's basically a quick catapult to the top. And it's a very fast fall as well.
Yeah.
Don't know how to cling on or grab onto that fame.
Yeah.
There are some artists in the US who have done very well from it, like the likes of Kelly Clarkson, and especially the country singers, because that's a genre that still sells in the US. But for a lot of these other artists, again, that analogy couldn't explain it better. It's like a catapult to the top. You shoot past all these other artists who are trying to climb up the ladder or climb up the mountain. You get catapulted straight to the mountain. But if you don't know how to grab onto something at the top, whether that be a manager or some idea to keep you going, it's a really fast fall straight to the bottom as well.
I heard that there was a guy, I think his name was Billy Tippany, I think, in one of the last ones.
Benny Tippany. He was,
He kicked ass, eh?
Yeah,
but
he was great. Great.
I heard through the little rumour grapevine, which I never really listened much to, but this one kind of twerked a little bit of a wondering speck in me, that he actually just gave up at the finals, that he realised what it was going to be. If he got first place, what it was going to mean for him, and that the contracts and stuff that come out of it are just shit, really, and that he didn't want to go down that avenue, so he threw it away. And so he didn't go in first place, but he's made a better name for himself than the person that got first place. Anyway, so who gives a shit?
Because I know he was a mad creative dude. I remember hearing about him from other musicians that he was actually quite talented. I remember Holly Smith Holly Smith actually, mentored him, and I remember reading from her. She's a very astute judge of character.
Yeah.
She said that he'll definitely be one to go further forward. So
yeah,
that could be right. And from what I can see, it's not what I know, but from what I can see from some of these artists, again, maybe the contracts have got them all tied up, but I'm waiting to see what happens with these guys. And it's like New Zealand's forgotten about them already. This is exactly what I mean. You don't see shit going on about them on Facebook or whatever. You see nothing. And it's sad. It's sad that, we build these artists up so quickly and we make them believe that New Zealand has their back, and we say we're all right behind them. And then 2 weeks after the show's done, oh, yeah, so what's going on in the States with such and such? Oh, yeah, Kanye West did what? Like, no one cares anymore. It's that quick. It is that fast, and that's scary. That actually goes to show the psyche of human beings currently. We are the instant gratification nation. Like IG, all we care about is we want it now, we want it fast, and as soon as it's done, it's over with.
Yeah.
And the best way to explain that, take a look at that the instance with the 9-year-old boy who was online, who was drinking at the skate park. Now that's a very serious issue, right? We spoke about it. You saw about it online probably for about 2 days, and then it's gone. It is gone. It is gone from people's minds. It's not talked about anymore. It's not conversed about. People don't care. They've moved on to the next issue, which is new photos of Kim Kardashian's baby, or Beyonce's what outfit she's wearing to the Grammys. Something as serious as that, it comes in, it's flash of the pan, and it's gone. So it just goes to show that that's how technology is moving us now. We're so used to adapting so quickly to situations, such as phones being far better than what they were within the space of like 6 months. How quickly technology is moving, it's adapting to other parts of our brain, and that, again, serious issues, we don't really take too much notice of them anymore.
It's dangerous though, man. It's a downhill spiral, isn't it?
It's very dangerous, because it just means that what that actually means is that we're becoming desensitized. We're becoming desensitized to very serious issues in the world. And the best way, another way to show that is you take a look at the conflicts that are going on in Syria and Egypt. These are absolutely horrible, disgusting things that are going on around the world that we don't really see much on, or we see images of it, we talk about it, we say it's horrible, then we let it go. We don't do nothing. We think sharing a post on Facebook is going to change the world. We're losing a lot of the real people in positions of power who were able to change people's minds purely because we're so flippant with our thoughts nowadays. We just, like I say, we see something, we let it go as quickly as it's come in, and that's a scary place to be. What does that mean? Is it going to get to a point where we'll see everyday murders happening, as we are seeing now? We'll see everyday murders happening around the world, and we're just like, we feel sad for a minute, and then oh yeah, well, I like this recipe, I'm going to share this on my page now.
Yeah.
It's freaky, man. The world that we live in now.
There needs to be a revolution, hard.
It's very scary, the place that we're in. I struggle to think what we're going to be like in 5 years' time. If you look at how quickly technology has moved from the year 2000 to now, it's insane.
That's scary.
And even think back to when the internet was first becoming accessible in people's homes, and you had dial-up. And it was to go online.
I remember that sound.
To go online was massive. You'd have to hit dial-up. Now look at it. We have broadband. We have people that won't sit there more than 5 minutes to download a song. Yet it used to take you 2 hours to get that. So again, it's the instant gratification nation. We're making everything so fast, and I wonder if that's the best thing for us as human beings. I wonder what that's doing to us, because I've just found that the level of impatience from a lot of people is huge. I don't meet very many patient people anymore. Everybody wants everything right here, right now, immediately.
I think the people that I have in my life anyway, the ones that are able to take that time out, away from the computers, away from the phones, away from everything, and spend quality time. I think quality time is lacking in our society these days too.
Great.
Everybody just texts. It texts, Facebook somebody, send a status, and invite them to a group event, and it's like, well, back in my parents' day, they would be sending handwritten letters with an invitation over for dinner, kind of thing. Yeah. And I think we're lacking it.
Getting to know your neighbours. You see, some people judge their lives based on how many Facebook friends they have, and it's ridiculous, Yeah. You could be having all these great conversations with people on Facebook, but online, people can be whoever the fuck they want to be. You could pretend to be anyone online. You know, you could have this great personality and you do all these amazing things, and in truth, you know, you just live inside of your room and you're the most antisocial person in existence.
Yeah.
You know, and people will have no idea of that until they meet you.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we're losing the personal touch, and which is why I'm trying to do little things myself to correct that, because I am a technology junkie myself, but just trying to do little things like, you know, keeping my phone away when I'm actually having meetings with somebody or having dinner with somebody. Like, leave the phone in the car. Like, it's just it's
you got to draw a line, eh? You got to
little things like that. Like, you see it all the time. People go out for lunch together, and you'll see everybody sitting on their phones.
that fucks me off.
It drives me nuts as well. But, you know, you see it, a group of 6 or 7 people, and these are, you know, you're all supposedly good friends, and everybody's sitting on their phones, or they've got their phones out taking photos of the meal, trying to capture the moment as opposed to living in the moment. This is something I chat in depth with some of my friends about. You know, capturing the moment as opposed to living in the moment, which can be a big frustration being a musician as well. I don't understand how people can come to a show and hold their phones up for the duration of the show and film the whole fucking show and think that they enjoyed themselves.
Yeah.
I don't get that. You know, I really don't. Like, holding a phone up for 40 minutes, trying to capture it. Because when you look, like, how many people do you know are going to look back at their phones of that 40-minute performance and say it was better than what they saw live?
Yeah.
Again, we're so busy trying to capture the moment and think we're going to watch this stuff again, when really we should just live in the moment. You know, if somebody wants to know how great the show was that you went to last night, they don't have to look at 20 of your 15-second Instagram videos. They can just ask you, and you can tell them from memory how great it was. You know, like, we're getting so wrapped up in this idea that, like, mini celebrity, we just want everybody to like our posts and see that we're doing cool shit, as opposed to actually just living in the moment of doing cool shit and telling people afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, it's like constantly trying to show to people, I'm having a good time. I want you to know I'm enjoying myself. It's like, shit, you know what? Just be yourself. Just enjoy your time there. Actually be in the moment. Be involved in the moment, you know? Take it for what it is. Don't just sit there trying to capture every moment.
So speaking about these gigs and stuff, right? I've noticed, because I'm actually based in Hastings, and Mark, who's not here, who's in Bali at the moment, is based in Aussie, and he's lived here, in New Zealand, obviously. And from the gigs that we've been to, like, you get the big artists that come in from overseas, but it seems like people aren't getting off their asses to go to gigs for our own musicians, you know, enough. Like, it used to be a lot bigger than what it is, and now it seems to be that it's just not cranking as much, you know? Do you think that's a publicity problem, or do you think it's people following, or a technology problem, or what?
I mean, that also could come down to an economic problem.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
that could also be, you know, is it a case of things not being affordable enough? You know, is this a case of artists having to look at how much they're earning from the shows and go, okay, well, maybe in order for me to pack this place out, I may need to take a third of a pay cut, but, you know, it means it's going to get more people there to the show who are going to, in turn, tell all of their friends about my music, and potentially spurn more sales and downloads online and spurn more online activity. You know, so I don't really know, but I can agree with the difficulty in getting people to shows.
Yeah.
I see that here in New Zealand, that it's very difficult to get people to come out, and I think it's a combination of things. I think, you know, one is as Kiwis, we are kind of blasé. As Kiwis, we are just very blasé. Like, take a look at it, like Lorde, like the success that she's had, right? She's now spurned, like, everybody's attention in New Zealand, to the point we're all congratulating her and people are going out to the airport to go and see her. But that happens for American artists all the time.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere they go, they get that sort of attention.
Yeah.
Most Kiwi artists I know will never get that. And I think it's just because it's always a very she'll be right, mate, and for the fact that most Kiwi musicians I know are also very humble people.
Yeah, man.
That most of them are very down to earth, purely because we don't make the money to separate ourselves from the norm. You know, if Kiwi artists were making millions of dollars, in which case they could separate themselves from other general New Zealanders, then they probably would have the superstar complex, and it probably would change people's minds to think, holy shit, if I see them out, I've desperately got to get a photo. You know, but for the most part, we're all pretty down to earth, like average New Zealanders. Even the top musicians I know aren't really making ridiculous amounts of money. You know, it's all just enough really to get by.
It's a income. Hey.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I think yeah, the lack of people coming to shows, I think it's a combination of things. But I think the economic situations of a lot of people right now, I think that's a big problem. I think that's definitely part of it. And again, it's just who we are as Kiwis. I've noticed it. We're just really blasé comparative to other countries, and I've seen it. Like I went to Papua New Guinea, treated like a superstar. Like had like 6 armed security guards around me, walking in the club, and people dying, screaming just to get close to me. Whereas here, it's one of those things like you just see me in the in the grocery store, just normal old Pete.
Yeah.
Whereas overseas, it's I think it's that whole international appeal too. Going overseas, it's kind of like, oh, he's only here for one limited opportunity. So yeah, this is a time to go crazy for him. Yeah,
that would be a cool experience though, man. Eh?
It was pretty fucking crazy. Like Papua New Guinea, like I love the place, and despite what people say about it being a third country, it's absolutely beautiful. And I really feel for the indigenous people, indigenous Papuans, because they've really been screwed over by other governments, especially the Australian and Indonesian governments, coming in and just basically raping and pillaging their country for purposes of mining to make money. But the people generally are very beautiful. They're just really, really cool people. They really obviously love life, and it shows in the way they are and how they treat other people. Yeah, I love PNG. I love.
I want to go there. It sounds so pretty.
It'll blow your mind that a country's so pretty. You'll see straight away there is no such thing as a wealth divide in Papua New Guinea. It's either rich or poor, and you see very rich and wealthy people living in compounds, and they've got armed guards, and then you've got the lowest of the low people who are waking up at 4 a.m. to walk to the markets to get there at 6 to sell bottles of water or whatever they can just to make enough money to feed themselves. It's definitely an eye-opener again to make me realize that New Zealand we're a very, very lucky country.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like I say, living here won't realize that until they go overseas. I was having a chat with a friend on Sunday who's she's a flight attendant for Emirates in Dubai, and she said I had no idea how amazing this country is until I went overseas. We're very lucky here, man. It's such a beautiful country, but nobody sees how beautiful it is until they go overseas.
Yeah, hard. I found the same thing. I went over to Japan when I was like 15, and I came back, and even flying over just green grass, bountiful amounts of green grass, I was crying like a little bitch, I was like, oh my God.
Tokyo, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's just so built up. Like you can hit that train in Japan from the center of Tokyo right out through to the airport, which is like a 2-hour train ride, I think it is. It's all industrialized completely.
You feel like you're in the jungle, the concrete jungle.
We can't comprehend that here in New Zealand. Like imagine driving for 2 hours, so from Auckland down past Hamilton down to
Cambridge.
down to or Cambridge or whatever. 2 hours, and it's all urbanized. Like there's no farmland whatsoever. It's all built up completely. It's crazy.
It's nuts. It's nuts, I say. Nuts. So we were talking about people getting onto the scene and stuff with the New Zealand Idol and all that shite. But why do you think it's hard? Like, when you were trying to make a name for yourself, what did you find the hardest thing about getting into the scene? Like,
just getting into it.
Yeah.
Just getting into it. I really feel for a lot of musicians these days who are trying to get out there and trying to get their music out there. I came into the industry at a very lucky time. I started in the game when the likes of Bebo and Facebook had only just started. Yeah. So I was at the start, the rollover of the technological boom, and I guess the swap over from the medium of people just listening to music on radio to being able to access whatever the hell they want to listen to 24/7, all day and week out. You can choose what you want to listen to online now. So
yeah,
the difficulty with the technological boom, while it's been great for a lot of musicians and allowing them to have a voice and get their music out there, it's also been detrimental in that it's taken away the ability to have a voice because there's so much shit that's being peddled online.
Yeah,
you have no idea what to listen to. Or you might stumble across something that's great and you try and tell your friends about it, but it takes a while for that to catch on. You know, there's just so much crap out there that's being pushed in front of our faces from you know, pretty average musicians. That's just being honest. You know, pretty average musicians who really probably should quit. You know, as much as they go, and they probably should just quit and ply their trade somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really difficult for the good musicians to get out there and push themselves out there. And then the other thing is, like, you know, even if you are a great musician, sometimes you don't really want to annoy everybody with constantly pushing your own music out there because you feel like it will turn people off. So, you know, you run that risk of like, do I bombard people with my music or do I try and be cool and not put it out there, and then run the risk of actually nobody listening or hearing this great stuff that I've got.
Yeah.
So, again, I just think it's really, really tough for musicians to get into the industry nowadays. And one thing I will say, it's very much about who you know. It's very, very much about who you know.
I was going to actually ask that. I've heard that it's more who you know than what you know.
But this comes back to a general business principle, right? People work with who they like. People will buy from who they like. People will hang around people that they like. So if you're an asshole, like, I'm sorry, but you know, you could have the greatest music on the planet, but unless you're well known, someone like Kanye or, you know, like who's some other big celebrities who have real arrogant attitudes. Like, again, if you're an absolute prick out there, you might have the greatest of sounds, but no one's going to want to listen to you because you have just a really abrasive personality.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. In order to sell, you've got to get the people who are in the know to like you, or the people that they know. Like, let's say you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. That's really it. You've got to get all of these people on side of you to talk you up and big your name up. Now, how do you do that? It's not just through it. I don't believe personally it's just through your music. It can also be in the way you come across as a person and your personality. You know,
it's kind of heard a few comments, you know, about how, you know, I'm all for New Zealand music completely and utterly. You know, that's who I am. It's what I do. But I've had a few concerning comments from musicians that have just found it really, really hard because it seems like the New Zealand Music Month is cool, but then you get the New Zealand Music Awards and you get the people that you have to get into if you want to get a New Zealand Music grant and for your videos and stuff like that, and it's all just so unattainable. You know what I mean? Like, if you,
it's all so clicky, bro.
Yeah.
It's really clicky. Like, even with like getting funding grants and stuff, you know, they've tried to change it, which I see is really great. They've tried their best to make it more accessible to more people, and by doing that, so now having the grants available, they've got how much? I think they give away like 20 grants like every month or something. So by doing that, you can always guarantee that they're going to give away like at least between 10 and 15 to artists that they know. Now, why is that? Because they're artists that are going to sell. Think about this from a political standpoint. If National, who are in power now, let's say they were giving out these grants to 20 no-names every month, and every month they're giving out, say, $6,000 to no-name musicians, and each of these videos was only spurning 1,000 views, let alone maybe 20 sales on iTunes. Like, that looks bad for them, basically just funneling money away for no reason whatsoever. So there has to be that, I guess, that balance, and that you have to give some money to artists who are well known to ensure that they get good views and sell good numbers online, so that they can say when they write these reports up at the end of the year and go, look, we funded this many projects, this artist had this many views, you know, this artist like Kimbra, she was one of the funded artists. Look at her, she had in 1 year. She had 70% of the video plays on YouTube from all artists that were funded under the grant scheme. She had 70% of the views. So there is a reason as to why they do try and fund these artists, you know, who are more well known. You know, so it's kind of like, it's one of those things. It's almost like once you're in, you know, but getting in can take a effort. But what I can say is, you know, if you got to, I think a lot of people got to stop worrying about grants and start worrying about what they can do on no money. You know, like if you've got no money, you know, if you've got to be out there and you've got to hustle, then don't expect a handout. A handout's great, but I never relied on it. You know, I applied bloody how many times for video grants for my first videos. I didn't get them. Got rejected. I got denied. So I found another way. I worked my ass off. I saved money. I paid for my first 2 videos.
Nine.
You know, I had to pay for that. And then I hustled my ass off to get my songs onto radio stations. When I first put my songs out to my FM, they weren't interested. When I first sent them up to Flavor, they didn't give two shits because they didn't know who I was. But I managed to get a bit of airplay on UFM. From that, you know, that helped build my name and build my fan base a little bit. So the next time I went into Flavor, they were like, okay, well, we sort of are hearing of you. Managed to get a meeting with the manager of Flavor at that time, who was James Daniels, Stacey Daniels' father.
Yep.
And what was meant to be a 5-minute meeting turned into a 2-hour conversation about music and about my goals. So this is another thing on what I'm talking about being a likable person and taking opportunities and using those to sell yourself, to sell your skills, to sell your values. From that, he decided straight away that my music was going to be played. You know, he texted me the next day and said, "That's it. I've made the decision. I spoke to my guys. I'm going to play your music." You know, so they played my next single. From that, building even further forward, then my FM started playing my stuff. You know, and then from there, it became undeniable that my name was pretty synonymous with New Zealand R&B. So it made it far more difficult for New Zealand On Air to say no to me for grants.
Yeah.
Because they knew if they're going to fund this, at least they're going to get views.
Yeah.
So can you understand? Can you understand that now?
Yeah.
I know a lot of musicians don't think that deep, but that's how deep it goes. You know, it runs all the way back to politics. Because you got to remember, these are funding grants that are given out by our government. So in order for these grants to continue, you know, so that the opposing party doesn't rag on them for it being I guess a failed venture, you know, and for wasting all of this money, they've got to ensure that they do fund artists that have enough clout inside New Zealand and around the world to get the views required to make it seem worthwhile.
So as much as it is seemingly bullshit to a new and upcoming musician, it's quite inspiring to know that you have come and gone through all the means that you need to go through in order to get where you are today and getting that funding.
I had no fucking handouts. I had no silver platters. This is what I want people to know. I had no handouts when it came to this industry. I had to get in. I had to hustle. I had no contacts. I had to do all of this shit myself. And I refused to give up. You know, I live by that attitude that, you know, if you give up, the only person that loses out is you.
Yeah.
You know, where you decide to stop the buck is where you stopped it. It's got nothing to do with anybody else, you know. You know,
no point pointing the finger.
You could fall down 1,000 times, but that one time you get up and you win, wasn't it all worth it? You know, that's why I refused to stop. And sure, it was disheartening at times, you know, trying your hardest to make songs and they don't play on radio, or you don't get the grant, or, you know, you try and do shows and you get no attention at the shows. Like, you know, there are going to be times where it does make you want to quit, but you've just got to keep fighting. That is the difference between incredibly successful people and people that don't get anywhere in life, you know?
So those times that were really, really shit, that you were only playing to an audience of 10, you know.
10, 20.
Those shit moments, what was it that reminded you that you should keep going? What was it? Was it
a love for what I was doing and belief in self? Serious belief in self. Now, this is another thing as well. I think to anybody who wants to be a musician, you're going to find it very, very difficult if you don't have confidence in yourself. But it's got to be realistic confidence. Understand what your talents are, understand where your weaknesses lie, and use both of those to your ability. Okay, I may not be good enough at booking my own shows, but I'll find somebody else to do it. I may not be good enough looking to fit the profile or persona of what they think there is. Get out there and hit the gym. Okay, I may not be the best songwriter. Okay, I'm going to find other people who can help me write songs. You know, I'm going to get them involved in the project. You know, I may not have the best live presence on stage, so I'm going to work on that. I'm going to find out what my weaknesses are and work on those. And my strengths, I'm going to play to those also.
Choice. That's good advice, bro. Very good advice. So with you, what do you find that the general public, right, what do you think their biggest misconception is about you as being a musician?
I think I know I'm pretty honest and open online about who I am, about what I get up to as a person. So I think people can see generally a very real side of me as a person. I think probably one of the most common misconceptions is the amount of money that musicians earn in New Zealand.
Oh, you guys are rolling in it, eh?
Yeah, that's the assumption. That's the perception. You know, that we're all making shitloads of money and we're balling out in flash cars and, you know, I mean, if that was the case, you would see that on Instagram. How many Kiwi artists do you see on Instagram flossing like Diddy or Rick Ross or whoever? It's not real, you know.
Fucking Instagram, man. Holy shit.
You know, you see it online, like even the likes of bloody T.I. and all these guys, Lil Wayne, and you know, just copped a new Rolls Royce, whatever. When was the last time you saw a Kiwi artist go, yeah? Just copped a new Audi R8 because of fucking Big Wednesday, you liar. You lucky bastard.
Oh shit, we all wish, eh? We all wish.
I think that's always the most common misconception.
Yeah.
And the other misconception about musicians is that we have an easy job. Any musician I talk to knows and understands the amount of work and effort that goes into being a musician, in terms of looking after your voice, in terms of looking after your appearance, in terms of having to find time to write songs, in terms of getting paid shit money in order to get more exposure for yourself, you know, or whether it be right at the top level of being a muso and having to please everybody and be everywhere all the time and be happy all the time and do all these shows to the best of your ability. It's a very demanding job, very, very demanding job, and I don't think a lot of people understand that, and it'd be hard for people to really understand it until you see it. You know, and it's the same with bodybuilders or the same with athletes. You know, we just see them play a game on the field. We think, oh, that was great, that was choice. Yeah, I reckon I could do a step like Benji Marshall. Yeah, but you didn't see him training for 80 hours this week practicing the step, or in the gym, or you saw him working out plays and tactics and understanding and reading the opposition of who he's playing, who he's marked up against. You didn't see that bodybuilder who's stepping on stage who's ripped and cut as hell. You didn't see the thousands of hours he spent in the gym, or spent starving himself eating just bloody chicken and broccoli, knowing that he had to get to that end goal. You didn't see all of that. You know, all you see normally is the end product, and we assume that it's the best, but you know, we assume it's the greatest when we've got to take a look at it like, wow, how did they get there? You know, how do they get there with that mindset and mentality? And I think if more people understood that, we would probably find more successful people in those areas too, because you know, it's just a process. It really is a process. You know, from what I've seen from most people who are successful, very rarely is anyone handed anything on a silver platter. And even if you get it, you've still got to work hard to keep it. Yeah. And that's in all areas of entertainment or sports. You have to work your ass off to stay at the top. Otherwise, you fall to the side. Simple.
That's the other thing as well, is that when you do get there, when you do manage to work your way up there through sheer hard effort and kicking ass, really, how do you maintain? How do you keep the fans happy? How do you keep them coming to the gigs? How do you keep them right there?
Good question. I think one of them always comes down to having a great live performance. You've got to make sure that, you know, the live show is something that people should feel like they're paying for, you know, something that they're going to go away and tell their friends about. I also think the musical content, like you got to be working hard. You got to be grinding. You got to be pushing out new music at any opportunity, whether that be music yourself or doing features for other people. You've got to remain current. It comes back to the whole instant gratification nation that we're living in now. You know, everybody wants everything so fast, and you're seeing overseas, most artists don't even take breaks anymore. You know, they used to take breaks in between albums, so they drop an album,
have a hiatus,
take a break for a year and a half or 2 years, and then they come back to it. Now they're dropping, even major stars are dropping EPs and then dropping new singles like after the EPs just dropped, like new singles for a new project. It's crazy the workload that you're having to get to just stay current nowadays. But I guess it's just the sign of the times. You know, you've got to work hard and accept the fact that you're going to have to work hard or run the risk of falling by the wayside. Then again, that's in a commercial sense. Now, like the alternative sort of scene, you can get away with not releasing material if you're dark and mysterious as a character too. So again, it's about understanding your marketing and branding, understanding what you need to do as an artist to fit your genre, and looking at what other artists have done in that genre and maybe potentially following a similar route. But that's not always the case. You can always be an exception to the rule also, but you know, it's understanding your genre, understanding the sound that you fit into, and looking at what other artists are doing, other successful artists are doing, and maybe thinking of possibly doing something maybe similar, but with your own twist.
The likes of Chris Brown, the Chris Brown with his dropping of singles and EPs, it's all so right there. It's right there in your face. It's 1 week, and then the next week he's got a single, and then the next week after that he's got another one that's dropping. It's like, holy shit, I haven't even finished listening to the first one, the first time round.
Yeah,
I think
that's not just him. That's the Rihannas as well. That's the the
Beyonce's,
the Jay-Z's, like the Kanye's. They're just constantly dropping stuff. And that, I mean, I guess when you have that sort of money too, a lot of these artists are paying for other people to write these songs. So it's more a case of a song will just hit their desk and they'll go, cool, yeah, let's record it. Done. And that's just sitting there in the bank waiting to get used.
Do you think that's cheating?
At the end of the day, it's a tale as old as time. It's a tale as old as time. They've been writing songs for other artists, since way back. You take a look at Motown. Motown, Smokey Robinson wrote how many hits for all of those Motown artists coming out of there, and you would never know.
Yeah, true.
So I guess it's just in its new form.
Do you have a secret, extra little bit of respect for people that write their own music and perform it and sing it?
Fuck yeah, because it's difficult. It's difficult to write your own songs, man.
Yeah.
To write your own songs and then create a live show centered around that, and to continue. See, because I mean writing pop songs is difficult, but writing any song is difficult. Generally, you've got to go through that experience to form an emotive connection with what you're singing about. So you're singing about love or loss. You can write generic, bloody, cliche lines that nobody's going to feel. But for the most part, to sing about, and to have hit songs, the songs that hit the hardest and always stay around the longest are the ones that have an emotional connection and impact on people. And in order to do that, you've got to have an emotional connection to the song. So people can hear that and feel that when it comes across in the song. It's like the transferring of energies. It's crazy to talk about music in this sense, but it really is. It's like a transfer of energy. Every time you hear a song, it's like a time capsule of that person's energy at that time. When you hear it, it's like it envelops you. Really good songs will do this. When you zone out and get enveloped by a really good song and get drawn up into it.
What's the best one of yours? What's the best one that you've ever experienced where you've been completely sucked into it?
Oh, damn, there's a few, but...
I reckon mine would have to be Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley, bro. It has to be by Jeff Buckley, though.
Mariah Carey, I Give My All is one of those songs.
Oh, yeah.
Mariah Carey, I Give My... Like, you can... Again, these are the songs that just... They just stand out from the pack.
You just have to sit down and shut up and listen to it, eh?
In Houston, I Have Nothing. Even John Legend, Ordinary People... these, like, you think about it when I'm saying these songs, you can think about it and the feeling that you get with the song at the perfect time, But again, there's so much respect for people who do have the ability to write those songs and get that across, because that's tough. And then to have to go through these new experiences and keep writing, it's like, man, like as an artist, you've got to suffer for your creativity. I've read that a few times, that you got to suffer for your art, and it's true. You got to suffer. You got to suffer great joys and great loss in order to get a really good understanding of how to write these songs.
You know what would have been a really great joy though, bro, is getting to kiss old Frankie Adams, eh?
It's all acting, bro.
Hey,
it's all acting.
Check you out. Was that badass? Was that awesome? Were you like mean to the boys when you got home?
She's stunning. She's
gorgeous.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Oh, Frankie.
Got a lot of time for Frankie, and shout out to the bro Tip Friday. He's a very lucky man and a very understanding boyfriend as well to let her jump in the music video. I remember there was a lot of talk going around, and I remember he even posted the video, and a lot of his boys were giving him shit, so I had to jump on there and say, hey, boys, calm down, because I bet you wouldn't be so comfortable to do that. That's how secure this man is in his manhood and of his relationship. So there you go.
Oh, good on him, eh? Good on him.
He's the man, all right.
Oh, Joyce. So your latest track. What is your latest track at the moment?
I don't really have anything out at the moment, bro.
Still rocking the Rumours?
Yeah, so Rumours is out. There's quite a few... Man, I'm getting hit up left, right, and centre for collaborations.
With who? Go on, give us the inside loop.
There's collabs with Awa. Looking at collaborations with Sid, and there's stuff with K1 as well.
Fine.
That's my working on stuff. There's quite a fair bit of stuff, and I had some stuff from Hawaii, quite a few collabs from Hawaii that came through. But right now, I'm just in a period of just being. I'm just at the point where I just want to exist right now. I don't really want to think too much about music or focus too much on it. I'm just happy just being me. Before there was a lot of pressure to get these collaborations done, you know, because I wanted to make sure they got on radio at certain points in time. But I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now, and I think I just need to take a break for my creativity.
Yeah.
It's important for me to just take a bit of time out to ensure that I can remain creative and I'm not starting to drone on or sound very similar to what's sound the same as everything that's on radio right now.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure as an artist you're bringing something creative and something a little bit different. And I think I need time away to go and just be me. Just be me for a while.
You know what? I've been stalking you a little bit for this interview. Not on Instagram though. I should have done the Instagram thing. But I see that your fans, man, they are hearty, loyal, hearty fans, eh?
I really appreciate that because they do, man. They fight for me tooth and nail. They really do.
Yeah, they do. They look like and like I scroll back to like when you first joined on your page on Facebook on the Pieter T page. Yeah, there's some pretty cool posts. I've been stalking you proper. So those people, what would you have to say to them? What do you want to say to them?
It's always something. It's always sincere for me. You know, I'm always very appreciative of the position that I'm in. You know, I never take it for granted, and I think that comes with having, you know, with how hard I've had to work to get here. So, having the fans that have been with me since day one, and the fans that do big me up to people that don't know me and push my name around the world, I'm so appreciative for every fan that I have. I really am. And whether it be, it's not just fans that pay for my music, I favor them better, or, you know, fans who just watch my YouTube videos, you know, everybody who just supports me in one form or another, you know, even just follows the pages just to look at the posts, like, you know, that it doesn't matter. I'm really, really appreciative of every fan that I have of me as a person and what I do. And I'm really looking forward to the next chapter, I guess, in the journey. I'm really looking forward to where things go for me as an artist and as a person, and I'm excited to see what sort of new fans I get and see what the thoughts are from some of the diehard fans too. You know, because everybody changes and everybody evolves, and it'll be interesting to see if a lot of them stay with the journey or a lot of them think that maybe it's changed. You know, I think that'll be quite interesting to see. But again, I'm very appreciative for all the fans and all the love and support that I do get.
Oh, mean, bro. Now it's cool to be completely honest. I'd heard your music, but a very, very lovely gentleman pushed me onto you and said you need to get an interview. So I did. But you know what? After stalking you sufficiently for a good period of time, I think that, to be honest, you would have to be one of the most inspiring musicians that I've seen. Just from the way that you talk to people, the way that you communicate with people, the things that you say, even when you're having a shit day, you manage to be able to turn it around and kind of see some kind of light, you know.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a huge, a really good quality to have as a human being. Really, I think there needs to be more of you in the world.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. But, you know, that's one thing I can always put across to people. You know, our minds are such powerful tools, and we allow our minds to basically dictate everything about who we are as a person, as a being, how we feel, how we take a situation. You know, and you can take a shitty situation and you can allow it to destroy you. You can allow it to own you, or you can use it to empower you. You can use a shitty situation to empower others. You know, to let them know that this went wrong and you shouldn't do this, or, you know, give other people advice. I just try and live my life to the fullest. I try and live with positivity, and I try and give as much energy to other people as what I get given in return. So, you know, I just want everybody, again, it sounds so cornball, but it's the truth. I just want everybody to live happy lives.
Yeah.
You only get one chance to live your life, so you might as well live it to the best of your ability and do all the things that you want and love to do.
Mean. Couldn't have said better myself, bro.
Thank you, bro.
All right, okay, we should probably wind up this interview. So before we do, I've got one request of you, kind sir.
Yep.
Because you can make any fucking word sound absolutely beautiful when you sing them. So, could you possibly sing for us? Small Huge has got it going down, and you've been with Pieter T. Go on, just make up a lyric. Make up a tune or some shit.
Oh, I love it. It's so R&B too.
I know, right?
Small Huge is good at going down, and you're here with Pieter T.
Oh yeah.
See,
Oh,
that was made for R&B. That line. Good at going down.
That was beautiful, bro. Beautiful.
Next
All right, so that's us. We're out. We're going to be doing another podcast. Hey, have you got any anything coming up in the next 6 months?
What I got coming up?
Other than chilling out and seeing you at supermarkets?
Nah. To be honestly, bro. To be honest, I think I've got Homegrown, which is I'll be there with PNC and Awa. We're doing a set.
Oh, mate.
And then after that, honestly, I'm just in chill mode. Right now, it's about writing this new album and trying to just find the right home for me to be placed on with it. So the focus is just on being me, training hard, and living life.
Choice. Lovely. Lovely. So if you see Pieter T around town, that man deserves a Cody's. Go get him one.
One, or 18. Or 18. Just anything to 18. Why not? You're listening to Small Huge with Mark and Sonia. My name's Pieter T, and this is my single, Rumours.
Oh no. Oh. Rumours. You say you got no more time for me. I don't understand, I don't get you no more, no. Then an hour later you take it back, wanna come see me, saying we should talk about it, but you know we don't talk about it. Too many lies, too much fuss surrounding you and me and what we aren't, we don't even know ourselves. Take a second, let it sink in. What you're saying, you don't like all the attention, baby. And you're just what the deal was when we started messing around. Can't change your rules now. You say you got no more time for me, yeah. Time to say bye-bye, bye-bye to rumors, goodbye to bullshit. So long to you and me, now we'll be so low. You say you got no more time for me, yeah. Time to say bye-bye, bye-bye to rumors, goodbye to bullshit. So long to us. Time to say bye-bye, bye-bye to rumors. In the midst of everything going on, I think I fell for you. Oh, I think you fell for me too. Too bad we couldn't get it together. What a shame, how great we could have been. All the games, and led to the mess that we're in. And now we got to let each other go. It's now time to walk down different roads. Whoa, take a second, let it sink in. What I'm saying, we can't fix what keeps on breaking. I wish you knew just how hard this is being on me. Wouldn't wish this shit on my closest enemies. You say you got no more time for me, yeah. Time to say bye-bye, bye-bye to rumors, goodbye to bullshit. So long to you and me, now we'll be so low. You say you got no more time for me, yeah. Time to say bye-bye, bye-bye to rumors, goodbye to bullshit. So long to us. Time to say bye-bye.